Always a pleasure to have you with us here in NHL Tonight. First shift, especially on a Friday. Man, is this show going to be fun. We got guests galore.
I mean, two good gets. Two good gets. I'm saying nothing. It's all yours to unveil, but two good gets. What a show. What a way to close out the week.
The Jordan Staal, the Carolina Hurricanes,
right.
is going to be absolutely amazing. And also, Lauren Gardner and Mike Rupp setting up what's going to be an amazing Stadium Series game Saturday at the Shoe in Columbus. 90,000 fans are in attendance. Of course, the Oscars are on Sunday, so me and Stu are going to talk a little movies as well and tie some hockey blockbusters to the Oscars. And, of course, out of the gate, we have lots of hockey talk to get to. But speaking of, one of the reasons why I love working with Stu so much, you think of him as a pugilist. Of course, he's known this as the Grim Reaper. But also an attorney, worked in the union, and a man of arts, a man of taste. Tonight, you're going to go see on Broadway.
I can't believe you're going there. Yeah.
MJ the Musical.
MJ the Musical. Jen and I saw, this going back a few years, probably even pre-COVID, we saw Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson. Blown away. This was in Vegas. So we're looking for something to see, and I've read nothing but good things, and get your recommendation via somebody, two other people.
Yeah.
But get your recommendation that MJ the Musical goes over really well. So we're excited. We're really looking forward to it.
Dan, please X All In. Stu's going to be on. I can't wait.
Exactly right.
I'm looking for that review later tonight. Hopefully you and Jen enjoyed it. All right, let's get to the hockey right now, shall we? And it's first things first, and props again to Stu. He called it yesterday when it came to going streaking. He said Tampa Bay would beat the Calgary Flames. He was right. They blanked Calgary 3-0, extend their winning streak to now 7 games in a row. This has been a red-hot Tampa team, and it makes for a fascinating division right now in the Atlantic. For years, you say, all right, who really is the beast of the East? We thought it was Tampa for a while. Florida won the Cup last year. Toronto's made a charge, and now here comes the Lightning right back into the fray again. Because of this 7-game win streak right now, which are scoring almost 4.5 goals per game, allowing less than 2, a juggernaut of a power play, and 27 shots a game. So right now, Florida's got 75 points. The Leafs are 1 back, and now the Lightning, who you thought would be a distant third, they're 3 points back to the top spot. Amazing.
They, to me, are the benchmark, are they not? In terms of, I know they're not a recent Stanley Cup defender. The last cup is a few years back, no question about that. But just in terms of the consistency, the ability to remain relevant in a salary cap world, this team is astonishing. AV, I would take the following point. You go back to, I think it's 2015 when they were in the finals against the Blackhawks. That window's been wide open for this group to win and to repeat. This window's been wide open for 10 years. Credit to the organization, top to bottom, ownership on down through management. John Cooper has been the mark of consistency, same coach day in, day out, and really a player's coach, oddly enough, at the end of the day. But, the players, I think, kind of take their cues from all that, and there's a culture there that benefits winning or facilitates championships and consistency, and it's just an organization to model yours after.
You're right, from top down, and I love John Cooper. Obviously, he's a tremendous coach. They just get the right vibe there. There's been some changes. Naturally, Steven Stamkos is now a member of the Nashville Predators, but you look at the linchpins. Who are the key pieces? Victor Hedman's still there, and their goalie, Andrei Vasilevsky, the big cat, has been tremendous over this last little stretch.
I'm with you. Jake Kensel was a wonderful add. That was a very savvy addition, and let's be clear. You had to part with Steven Stamkos, longtime captain through those championship years, to get to add Jake Kensel. Player, I want a hot take coming, AV, heads up. I don't know that right now, at this moment in time, especially in the context of this season, that there's been a player more important to this roster than Brandon Hagel.
Wow.
This kid drives tempo when he's out there. He's a bona fide point getter. He's a point per game. He's on the verge of blowing up career highs in both the goals and the points columns. He's just been fabulous. Did you see him at Four Nations getting into it with the Kachucks at the start? I mean, there's nothing this kid won't do. He's just doggedly determined, got a whole lot of offensive upside. But I really do feel the step forward that he's taken, it's been his best year as a Tampa Bay Bolt. I think this guy has just, he's done yeoman's work for this group in a variety of ways.
I love it, though. The Hot Take Express. No player more valuable to his team than Brandon Hagel. That's great, Stu. I love it. Love the passion. Gensel also at the Four Nations. Enjoy that experience as well. So maybe Tampa could be the biggest threat to wash in the East. Next up, the Utah team. That's right. The Utah Hockey Club taking care of Minnesota 6-1 as they're still alive right now in the wild card hunt. This is a great story, of course. For Arizona, they're languishing in the desert. Now in Utah, their first team. You say, well, probably not going to be a playoff team. Well, maybe. Maybe the future is sooner than you think. Now 63 points, They're 2 points back of Vancouver, just one back the Calgary Flames, who lost the Lightning. And Clayton Keller specifically was marvelous. He had 1 goal and 4 assists. He's just been an assist machine. There's the standings right now.
Yeah.
Again, Stu and I said yesterday, if I said you Canucks or Flames, and I was already discounting Utah, shame on me, and you said Vancouver's got the more talented roster. But hold on, Utah's still right there with 22 games remaining.
Yeah, they are. They've been phenomenal. I give Bill Armstrong a whole lot of credit. He's really put together, he's really assembled a nice roster here. You can tell there's a real long view in mind here as this group is building towards the future. But talk about the present tense. I'm with you. They're gamers. They're making a run at it. Clayton Keller specifically, and certainly on the heels of his 5-point performance last night.
Yeah.
I saw this group play live twice last year, and I'll tell you what. There's no better way to get a really good feel for who are the impactful players on this roster. Clayton Keller just jumps off the page when you get a chance to see him in person. Great speed. High hockey IQ, very talented player, but he's the kind of guy, he keeps plays alive out there, rarely makes a poor decision, and he's always driving tempo. A lot of fun to watch, but just an identifiable difference in terms of his impact. And this is a roster with some real promise. I mean, Barrett Hayden, Dylan Guenther, friend of the show.
Yeah.
They've got some some wonderful pieces there. But for this moment in time, Clayton Keller is, he's a real impact player, a difference maker for this group.
You saw there by that graphic again. Keller right now, he's among the top 10 in assists in the league. You think of the best passers in the league. Mitch Marner comes to mind. Certainly McKinnon, McKellar's there as well. So the future is now. He's been bright. All right, next up, Cole Caulfield for the Montreal Canadiens. They still have aspirations of going to the playoffs and potentially a goal of the year candidate. Look at number 13, goes through the legs and then top shelf to score the game-winning goal against the San Jose Sharks in overtime. I've talked to Montreal coach Martin Saint-Louis about Caulfield, and certainly there's some comparisons there, both diminutive guys, but huge talents and potential stars. Stewie, that's as good as it gets.
It really is. 2 pieces I want to tease out there. Of course, it's the patience coming across the blue line, and then he slides it. He takes it from his forehand back through his legs right here. But watch the second piece. The finish, the execution on that shot, the beauty of that is there's absolutely no tell there. Look at how little recoil. It's essentially the puck and the stick are one. He hardly draws the stick back at all.
Yeah.
So you're not giving the goaltender anything to read off of. Like, where is he going with that? Where is he communicating that he's going with the shot? It's just a quick flick of the wrist, and it's up over the shoulder, short side. So hard to replicate. Impeccable execution, but that is that's in there in the basket full of goals of the year without question. That was a cute finish.
And it makes you think on a further level as well. When you look at Montreal and San Jose, 2 teams who are rebuilding.
Yeah.
And Montreal, as I said, has aspirations of being in the playoffs. I think it's going to be a little challenging for them. Jeff Gorton, our old buddy here from NHL Network, doing a great job the way he's shepherding that team. Certainly, Caulfield's a big part of it. But you look at San Jose, and there's reason to celebrate because of Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith. 2 teams right now. If I said to you, Stu, you're buying stock in which team, Montreal or San Jose, in terms of young talent?
Yeah. I'm going with San Jose, and I'll tell you why. I think it's a really interesting discussion to have.
Yeah.
But to really look at this in parallel, comparing these 2 teams, I think you got to kind of go back to when did Caulfield first take to the ice, right? Like, that's kind of the start, or you're nibbling into the full-on rebuild for this group. So comparing where Caulfield and the Montreal Canadiens were going back to 22, 23 when he played his first full year, and then comparing this roster, this San Jose Sharks roster right now, there's lots to be excited about if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan. The future looked bright even back then where Caulfield and those Canadiens are concerned, but you've got real difference makers, guys that are playing in the top 6. Will Smith has been fabulous. Natural center playing on the right side, but he's been about a half-point per game player. Macklin Celebrini has missed some time. He's been a point per game player. 1 and 2 with Hudson in terms of where who wins the Calder ultimately. But looking at this team just in terms of these 2 organizations, in terms of their prospects, their pipeline as well, 5 players, going back to the 2020 draft, 5 players for the Montreal Canadiens are first-rounders. Right now, the San Jose Sharks have 4 first-rounders, but the 25 draft, they've got their own first-round pick. They've got Dallas's first-round pick. So look to add another couple of first-round picks. And The Athletic, last piece I'll make on this, point I'll make on this, The Athletic rates these 2 clubs San Jose 1, Montreal 3rd, just in terms of the prospect pool overall. So another important piece of information for me, but I really do like where this roster, I think this roster is ahead of Montreal at a similar moment in time. Again, going back to the moment that Cole Caulfield kind of had his first full year. Montreal's a little further down the line right now, but it's not fair to really evaluate San Jose in that respect, because I think they're earlier in the process, if that makes sense.
No, you're right. If Caulfield and Submarine were both rookies, that'd be different. But to your point, let's check out Montreal. Hudson's in that clearly Calder race right now, along with Matt V. Michkov scored 2 goals last night. Kirby Dach, unfortunately, knee surgery, is done for the season. Slavkovsky's the one. They got to see more to him, right? Hudson's great.
I think so.
Caulfield's great. Dach is hurt, and Slavkovsky's the one I think he's the one you got to go, all right, we need a little bit more from him to really feel like.
I think so. Big, rangy forward, a guy with some size, some offensive upside, and a guy that can be, can really control play, be very hard to play against. We've seen flashes of it, not the consistency. But, do give him just a 20-year-old athlete at this point. Lots of growth there.
All right, as far as the Friday night game schedule is concerned, we had 12 games last night, 3 games on a Friday night, including the Maple Leafs taking on the Rangers. We've got the Kings and the Stars, 2 playoff teams there, and the Wild and the Avalanche, also a couple of playoff teams right now. Let's talk further about Leafs-Rangers specifically. Rangers injury woes right now. I mean, tough blow here, Stewie.
Are they ever?
Adam Fox with the upper body injury, K'Andre Miller, lower body injury. Both those guys went down with injuries Tuesday against the Islanders, did not return. JT Miller, game time decision. He missed Thursday's practice with the illness. So key players right now may not be in there for the Rangers in a big game against Toronto.
You kind of, it's say this the right way, but it's hard to feel sorry for the Rangers at this moment in time, right? You've got that block of 30 games-ish right out of the gate where this team was well short of their best brand of hockey. So they really did put themselves behind the 8 ball. We were talking about, the Metro and almost, assuming that the New York Rangers are going to end up #1 in the Metro after the 24-25 season kind of sorts out, and we're looking towards the postseason. But they've been, they've been well short of their true identity, so kind of put themselves behind the 8 ball. And two, just about every team's going to deal with this at some moment in time. This is a critical moment in time for a team that, is really starting to coalesce and play to their true identity, the Rangers. Tough time to be banged up, given the context.
Leafs have won 6 of 7 games so far in the month of February. They're averaging 4.29 goals per game. But here's a big shock if you've been paying close attention. Austin Matthews has been quiet recently. Just 1 goal, and that was an empty net goal. February 22nd against Carolina over his last 9 games. He does have 9 assists. He's been a +5. He's playing over 20 minutes a game. Didn't score in the Four Nations tournament as well. And he's 1 goal shy of passing Daryl Sittler for second on Toronto's all-time list. Little tease for you. Amazon Prime Monday Night Hockey. Daryl Sittler going to join us.
Is that a fact?
Hopefully he gets to go with Daryl sitting next to me and Shane Knighty. We shall see. But
fabulous.
Any concerns here with Matthews? A little surprised he's having a dry spell like this.
Well, concern, to some degree. I mean, so missed some time this year. I think it was a dozen or so games. He's just nibbling over. I think he's 21 goals on the year in about 40-some games. So, kind of well off the pace for Matthews, who we've seen, breeze through 50 goals into 60 goals. I'm left wondering, especially when you look at the Four Nation tournament, the way everybody rises to the occasion there, that maybe he's dealing with something. Couple that with the fact that, even the premier goal scorers, the premier offensive players are going to go through their dry patches from time to time. To me, we're looking back at this season, 2-3 years out, it's a blip on the radar for a guy like Austin Matthews. Clubs are going to go through it. The good news is, as a whole, I feel like the roster's kind of taken a step forward, tightened things up defensively, kind of has had a lot to do with that. Marked difference in the way, the structure this group plays with compared to season in the not-so-distant past.
Kenneth has been great. Will Stolarz, of course, there in the back end.
Right, that's a good tandem.
Wild and the Avalanche, also, the Avs have been dominant at home against teams in the second of a back-to-back. So right now they've got 70 points right now. They're a wild card team, and the Wild are right there in front of them at 72. But, man, I mean, since the start of the 2021-22 season, Avalanche opponents in this situation going into high-altitude Denver, Stu, with no rest, 4-14-1 now. Look at this. Since 2020-21, 5-23-1. You can't score. You get too many goals. That's the altitude when you can't get used to it. Crazy.
Yeah, it really is. And that really is the one advantage that Colorado has over the rest of the business. It's a scheduling nightmare when your club has to go through that. Again, on the back end of a back-to-back, traveled the night before and playing at high altitude. Let's add to that, playing against a relevant team, a good team. It's a tough situation to be in. I remember going in there as a player, and you talk about it, but until you get into the throes of competition, you forget how debilitating, how handicapping that altitude can be, and the accommodation, the adjustment just becomes shorten your shifts, tighten the workload, especially if you don't do that early, you're paying a price later in the game for it. So tough circumstance to be in, and the record going back, those 4 or 5 years really bears that out.
I remember being in Denver first time, let's say 06, I was covering the NBA All-Star game, Chris Bosh, the Raptors.
Yeah.
I walk around, I go, it's not a big deal. And someone goes, why don't you go for a run?
Yeah.
You'll notice it after about 30 minutes.
Go for a run.
Fair enough. All right, good stuff here as we're kicking things off. NHL Tonight first shift. When we come back, what a great get. Jordan Staal, we'll ask him about wearing those Whalers unis last night. What's going on in Carolina? Man, love seeing the whale there. Staal's coming up.
Now the square up front, Staal with the deflection. The Canes come up with a loose puck, and the captain setting the tone early. It's 1-0 Carolina.
Jordan Staal getting it done again. What else is new? 19th NHL season, 13th with the Hurricanes. Almost 900 games right now, and a key win last night as the Hurricanes had lost 5 of 6 before last night, but Staal, the captain, always gets it done. He answers the bell right now with us here on NHL Tonight First Shift. Jordan, first and foremost, I love the fact you were locked in the show yesterday. You were inspired clearly by Stu Grimson's goal, back with the Hartford Whalers and the celebration. True or false?
Very true. We were all sitting in the room watching that big celebration and a big goal. There it is again. Big slap shot, great pass. Who had a great look on that one too. He was pumped for it. It was great.
Primo.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah,
that was cool. that was the K train, Big Keith. Hey, Jordan, one goal scorer to another. You saw that puck coming, right? You changed the angle of your skate blade so that it ends up in the back of the net. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt there.
Absolutely. They don't ask how, right? Just how many.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Jordan, I got to live in Connecticut for years, and it was amazing. This was post-Whalers, so I wouldn't get to see Stu play back then. But it's amazing how much they still have the Whalers there. And I love the fact Carolina continues that tradition, and it's working for you on the ice. The team is 6-0-3 when you wear that Whalers gear. You guys are inspired out there.
Oh, nice. It's always a great night. The Caniacs seem to it's always well received in the arena, and the boys kind of jump along with it. I think we had the long sweatpants the other year, and and all that stuff. It's a cool retro look, and it's a fun night for sure.
I give you full marks for buying into it. You got the headband and everything. I love it, Jordan. I love that you guys have a lot of fun with it too. We were talking about this on yesterday's show. That brand, even though we're so far removed from Hartford being a member of the NHL, that brand, that logo still sells really well. It'll come as no surprise to you, though, Jordan. What I want to talk to you about, Kotkaniemi. Talk about Jasper last night and the way we started the game. 4 seconds into it, he's getting into a scrape with Dylan Cousins. It really seemed to kind of spark your group. Is that the way it resonates on the roster?
Yeah, for sure. It's been an up and down few weeks for sure. Even throughout the whole year, it's been up and down. And when there's must wins throughout a 82 game season, I think tonight or last night was another one, and KK felt it, everyone in the room felt it, everyone in that building felt it, and he got us going early there, and the boys responded really well.
That was a big moment. Oh, it was something.
Fabulous to see. And Jordan, you've been strong, man. You already matched your point total from last year. You surpassed last year's goal total right now. You had a hat trick January 9th against the Leafs. What's working for you this year offensively?
I've been fortunate enough to play with some great line mates, obviously, with Marty for one, and been with him for quite a few years. But, I think Jarvy's really obviously a key player in our group, and he helps me out offensively and definitely helps create more offense and put the puck in the back of the nets. And, I don't know. Just seems to be going in for me a little bit more this year, which, as you know, from goal scorer to goal scorer, Stu, it comes in waves sometimes, and it's been going in lately, and I want to keep it rolling.
Yeah, memory serves. I had some really long stretches though of cold gloves, cold sticks. Some really long stretches. We joked before we came on air, Jordan, fellow Canes, both you and I. I was, of course, back with the organization when they started up, first year in Carolina. Talk about this fan base and how it's evolved over the years, because for our outside observations are, the way you guys interact, there's just a real important nexus between the organization, the roster, you players, and these great Canes fans. What's that? How have you seen that evolve over the years?
Yeah, it's. I've been through definitely some ups and downs here in Raleigh. But obviously, just the way it's trending, and the group we have, for one, obviously brings out a great product. But our Canes fans are nuts, man. They're until you think you go and experience it there at Lenovo Center. It's an exceptional atmosphere, and the fans do an amazing job of being behind us every night and creating an atmosphere that's really hard to play against for an opposing team. And and not only that, obviously with the storm surge obviously died down a little bit with our creativity, but that whole aspect and the connection we had there, and just the way our organization's really just keeping our fans involved, and it's just become a hockey town, really. And from all the other sports that we have here, there really is only one pro sports team, and it's a team that everyone in Raleigh can rally around, and it's really shown as of late here.
Rallying in Raleigh, that's got a good ring to it.
That works. That plays. That plays.
I wish you'd won a year ago, but you still finished second in voting for the Selke Trophy, having another strong defensive season. How much pride do you take in that aspect of your game?
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, like I said, I've had some cold streaks goal scoring wise, but I've always taken pride in playing the right way and really ultimately trying to help the team in different ways. On the defensive side, and no team in the league can win a lot of hockey games without having a great penalty kill, and obviously there's always key situations in games that require keeping the puck out of your net, and it's a big part of the game. And you always hear defense win championships. There's always those goal scorers out there, but I try to take pride in all those other things, little things that help us win, and try to chip in offensively whenever I can.
Trade deadline's right around the corner, of course, and the push to the playoffs has really begun in earnest now that we're kind of on the other side of the Four Nations, Jordan. Give Canes fans a sense of what's the push look like from here to the end of the regular season, and is a deep playoff run in the cards, given the way the team's playing to this point?
Yeah, I think. I think we have an unbelievable team. I think it has been maybe a more inconsistent game throughout the season. Maybe that's just been with all the hockey we have been playing and whatnot, and maybe looking too far ahead than we'd like. And I think we're getting close to that the gritty time of the year, and when every play, every little point matters. And I think that's when our team comes to shine. And the way we play is just so hard to play against. So. It's an exciting time of the year. The boys are ready to get going and have a little big push after this four seasons, the Four Nations, and it's going to be an exciting time again for the Caniacs and for our group, and we'll see where it takes us.
Rod Brind'Amour has been a mainstay there as a coach, Jordan. What's it like for particularly yourself as the captain, communicating with your coach, and clearly a guy who has the pulse of the team well under taps?
Yeah, Roddy's, he's the core of everything around here, and he's the hardest working guy I've ever met, and he gives everything to what he's trying to accomplish. And you can see his passion there, and just his intensity, and and not only that, he's rooting for us too. He's a part of the group. He's in it with us, and we're just trying to win games and trying to win it all and do it together as a group. And it gives you chills. It's really what every player dreams of, and it's a room that we have that it's just I don't know. It's just amazing and a lot of fun to really just be alongside players that want it and are competitive and just bring it every night and do it for each other and all that stuff that as a kid growing up you dream of being a part of, and we want to keep pushing to that ultimate goal, and Roddy's always been leading the charge in that aspect.
22-6-1 at home this year, Jordan. I think only Winnipeg with 23 wins has a better home record. What is it about the brand of hockey that Roddy has you guys playing? Or perhaps it's just, again, those Caniacs and that building. What are the elements that really make you such a tough out at home?
Yeah, I would first and foremost, I've given them quite a bit of shouts already, but our fans are impressive at home, and it's just a tough building to play in, and we like to jump on teams early, and obviously at home you always have that comfortability, and we do need to find ways to win games on the road, especially in playoffs. We've got to do a better job of that, but a home record is always. It's always a good thing, and like I said, with our brand and our intensity and how much we puck pressure, I think it just creates that much more difficulty for the opposing team coming into our building.
Last one for you, Jordan. I got to ask you about the siblings, because it's amazing seeing what the Shens have now done. Of course, Luke and Braden, and then there's three of you guys, you and Eric and Mark, in terms of siblings to play 1,000 games each. What did your parents do right to lead to this outcome?
I think it's just the water in Thunder Bay, obviously. I think it's obviously a dream come true. I pinch myself every day. This year's been a little bit different for myself, obviously, with the Bros not being involved. But just what a blessing, what an amazing, it really, you pinch yourself every day. It's an amazing thing, and we're so proud of and blessed to be part of the NHL and all those games and all those players and all those people that have been around us, and it's just been really just surreal, and we're very, very happy, very blessed, and I'm going to try to continue that Stahl name as long as I can. Yeah,
definitely making the Stahl name proud. Again, from one goal scorer to another. If you ever need advice, just talk to Stu. He'll hit you up and keep things rolling, man. This is awesome.
All right, thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
All right, Jordan Stahl doing things right now, the Carolina Hurricanes, and obviously repping the Whalers, in addition to the Hurricanes very well. When we come back, we'll take a turn and check in with LG Red and Rupper from Ohio Stadium, getting set for the Stadium Series game taking place on Saturday. Oh, I cannot wait, as the Stadium Series will now pay a visit to the Shoe. That's right, a place known for college football in Ohio State. This time it's going to be the Columbus Blue Jackets. And what is going to be a very important game against the Detroit Red Wings taking place on Saturday. And with all of our expert coverage, we've got the great Lauren Gardner and Mike Rupp there in attendance, as it's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. 90,000 fans expected to pack it in. There are LG and Rupper right now. Great to see you both. Thanks for making the visit to Columbus on behalf of all of us. LG and Mike, what are the initial impressions of the venue so far?
Well, in a word, Adnan, I would say windy, as you saw my ponytail eclipse my entire face. But in all seriousness, aside from the conditions, which we'll get to in a second, if you didn't already feel the excitement, the pageantry of college football here at the Shoe, Rupper, we just had the marching band do a rehearsal. Awesome. This place is great, 100,000 capacity, and you can feel it. It is wild in here.
Yeah, we knew when we got off the plane we're in God's country now in Ohio, but this is another level of it when you get inside the Shoe here. You know what, the vibes, you got it right. We just heard the band warming up. You start seeing the hype around it. I mean, just this facility by itself, the Ohio State University. I mean, it's nuts. I can't wait for tomorrow. And quite frankly, Ohio, growing up in Ohio, it's waited a long time for this. Hockey has grown, and it's going to be on full display.
Yeah, this is so special. You were from about an hour and a half from here. I can only imagine the feeling physically setting foot inside the Shoe for the first time, by the way, knowing that this is the first outdoor game in Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the growth, I mean, we saw some of the numbers, over the last 20 years, the growth of youth hockey, and it all starts with the Columbus Blue Jackets coming to town here, right, and getting that NHL franchise in the state. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited, and I'm excited about what this game means too, because the game, boys, you guys know, it's there's a lot on the line here.
There really is, and that's the question I really want to put to you both. You know, the outdoor game, a spectacle all by itself, right, guys? But I can't remember when we've had an outdoor game that's really been more competitive, more relevant. Here we've got a pair of clubs that are neck and neck, presently holding down the 2 wild card spots out east. Talk about, you know, the sheer competition and how much is at stake in this outdoor game.
I mean, there's a lot. You have the first and second team in the wild card race, and Rumper, if I would have told you at the beginning of the season that these 2 teams would be fighting for their playoff lives in this outdoor game, what would you have said?
I mean, I wouldn't have believed it, but same thing when they announced this game. I mean, I love just the fact that we've already mentioned. I love that Ohio's getting a game here, but I didn't know what this matchup was going to look like. I didn't know where these teams would be in the standings, but you can see right there, I mean, they're in it. These teams are in it, and we talked all season long with maybe what's going on with the Boston Bruins, what's going on with the New York Rangers. Well, it's opportunity for the Eastern Conference, and these 2 teams are taking full advantage.
Yeah, and you want to talk about taking full advantage of a situation. Of course, the Red Wings are doing so, and ever since we had the coaching change, they've been, I think, the 3rd best team in the NHL since the day after Christmas. And then on the other side, there's every reason in the world, fellas, to be rooting for the Columbus Blue Jackets. 0 expectations for them going into this season, and here they are. They have a shot.
Yeah, I mean, we see kind of a similar, I guess, in some ways, situation with Chris Knobloch and the Edmonton Oilers last year. The coaching change happens. The team goes on. It absolutely just changes everything. Same thing has happened here with Todd McClellan and the Detroit Red Wings. Their power play, #1 in the NHL since that takeover. They have a lot of good things going for them. Pretty much every statistical category has gotten better. And they're the hottest team, one of the hottest teams in the NHL. But the Columbus Blue Jackets are one of the most, I don't know, appealing teams as far as what they bring to the table. We know about everything they've gone through. I'd go even date it back a number of years. This franchise has gone through some stuff, and they've got a lot of heart, and everybody wants to get behind someone like that, right? So this is a great matchup. 2 teams that are finding their own way to get in the playoff picture.
Yeah, it's a special team, and Adnan, I was just listening to an interview with Sean Corrali, who was saying that Johnny is with them every step of the way. They're just coming off a road trip where it was the mom's trip, and they had a really special dinner, and they had a chat about that. We just saw some of the guys walking out here taking it all in. It's going to be a really special couple of days here in Ohio.
Well, it's wonderful to hear. Obviously, the team has overcome so much in the first outdoor game there for the Columbus Blue Jackets. In terms of specific players, LG, how about JVR? James Van Riemsdyk, he's a veteran when it comes to the outdoor game. No one's played more than him. 7 outdoor games. Of course, banked a lot of those in the Flyers. He had 2 goals last night playing with Jenner and Johnson. But this is amazing. In terms of outdoor game experience, he's got twice as much as Ivan Provorov, who's got 3. How do you think that will impact things?
I mean, Adnan, I feel like JVR should definitely give the pregame speech or at least some sort of tutorial as to how to succeed in an outdoor game. I can't believe this will be his 8th. Patrick Kane on the other side, this will be his 7th. So he's also very well experienced when it comes to playing outside. He was outstanding last night. It's been a lot of fun to see him, especially as a veteran.
And he's got, 6 points in those outdoor games, too. So he's effective in the games. Shabby. I think last night's goals are a perfect example. We know JVR's net front presence. We know how good he is at tipping pucks. I think in a game like this, that's what you look to do. You simplify. I mean, the way that the NHL and the league has the ice conditions situated, I mean, it's pretty much immaculate. But there's still conditions you can't control, whether the sun's hitting a certain way, whether you get some rain. There's a lot of different things that could change maybe the I don't know, consistency of the ice that you're used to in an NHL game. Well, JVR going to the net, simplifying, tipping pucks, that's going to translate. So look for him to maybe build on that, but they're going to look for him and his experience for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. Obviously, you played in an outdoor game. Just seeing how maybe you change your technique in this situation, you just get down low. Will we see any guys change their game?
Oh, I mean, I just think when you simplify, it allows people to play a little deeper in the lineup, like myself, to be able to thrive, because it does. It's put the puck behind the defenseman, go in there, get a hit. All those little things that sometimes are maybe overlooked, they're a little more magnified at a game like this. So I think the teams do that. And that line you talked about, JVR, Boone Jenner, and Kent Johnson. Put the young kid with the wily vets and let him go out there and dance. I'm excited to see him.
Real quick, how many goals did you score in the outdoor games?
I had 2. I had 2 in the one game, and they weren't pretty, just simple
Not
things.
a
So
big
I'll
deal.
look for these guys to do the same.
By the way, guys, he was just talking about the conditions. Obviously, you can talk about the ice. We were told it's in great shape. It's currently covered before the teams take the ice for practice. Also, the wind, as you can tell, this could be a factor tomorrow. We were told if the NHL feels like it could be a deciding factor in the outcome of the game, the third period, they'll do 10 apiece each way.
Oh, interesting. And the forecast for tomorrow is what are your weather conditions specifically?
Cold.
Cloud cover and how cold?
Well, it's gonna be chilly, right? It's gonna be much more
I think a low
chilly.
of 22 at night.
And I heard we
Wow.
have the option of switching sides halfway through the interviews too.
Yeah,
So we
because
have
the
option with
ponytail,
the
I
wind,
don't
too.
know if either side's going to help this ponytail situation.
I was going to say, bring your toques, as Canadians say, or as Americans say, beanies.
That's less ponytail, more windsock, really, the way it's like blowing straight sideways off the back of your head, LG.
The flapping hair of the unflappable
That's what
Lauren
it feels
Gardner.
like.
LG, Rupert, thank you so much, guys. This was awesome. Have a great time tomorrow night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, good stuff there from LG and Rupert at the Stadium Series in Columbus. When we come back, it's Blockbuster Week. Oscars on Sunday. You're going to love our Best Picture theme segment next.
NHL Tonight is presented by Intuit TurboTax. Now this is taxes.
I'm loving this open animation here for Blockbuster Week, as it indeed not just the trade deadline coming up March 7th, but also the Academy Awards this Sunday. It's award season for me and Stu. Stu looking dapper there. Look at you working the red carpet.
Feeling
You're gonna
good. The black leather gloves. Look at JD's all
JD's dressed up for the
tripped out.
occasion.
Red carpet ready.
You were looking good,
Dan, I'm not
Fred.
sure if you can get to my single, but I'm wearing this specifically today. This is from the 90th Academy Awards, which I worked, and I got this from the Academy. Of course, I was doing the red carpet. I also did some stuff for Facebook Live as well. So this is not what I wore on the red carpet, but a little bit of swag I got.
You guys are totally in character, or at least in costume. I'm so proud of you both. I've dragged this show down away from our theme.
Yeah.
A better producer would have had photos of you prepped for this, of you on the red carpets, Adnan. That's my bad.
No,
I'll
it's
wear
all
that.
good. It's all good, JD. What do you got for us? What do we need?
Okay, back to a little bit of hockey here. We are 1 week away from the trade deadline. It is next Friday. And as you mentioned, Adnan, the 97th Academy Awards this weekend. Do I have that right? Is it 97?
97.
97th, yeah.
All right, beautiful. So combining the Oscars and this blockbuster potential week leading up to the trade deadline, we're going to play a little game here based off of past Best Picture winners.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with Adnan. One of my favorite moments that you broadcasted about movies was La La Land. No, wait. Moonlight has won Best Picture.
Yeah.
The surprise in your voice was incredible on a shocking Oscar night. So, fellas, I'm going to ask you this. In honor of Moonlight, who will be the most surprising name dealt at this year's trade deadline? Here are your nominees. Aaron Ekblad, Chris Kreider, Brad Marchand, Elias Pettersson, or, as we talked about yesterday, Mikko Rantanen.
Moonlight won Best Picture. Yeah, it's a great list. I think Marchand is going to get dealt, so I think Rantanen probably leaning over 50%. I'd say Pettersson's due, because I would think the whole rift was JT Miller, Elias Pettersson. I'd be pretty stunned if you trade Miller and Pettersson. Both those guys were thought to be key cogs.
Yeah.
Vancouver's still pushing towards a playoff spot. I know Pettersson's had a bad year. I know it looks like a bad contract, but I'd be stunned. I'd be genuinely surprised if Pettersson got jettisoned.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about Aaron Ekblad. Longtime Florida Panther, has been a mainstay for that group. I know his game has kind of been modified, adjusted as the years have gone on, but to the extent that the contractual number and term plays, a factor in all this, Bill Zito has demonstrated he's found a way. Sam Reinhart, best case and example. He's found a way to keep the group together, to communicate this message of, hey, let's kind of keep this buttoned up. If it means taking a bit of a hometown discount, let's figure it out. I feel like Aaron Ekblad, I don't see him leaving camp. I really do not see him leaving camp. 11
years with the Panthers as well. It'll be tough to imagine.
He's
Part of the
been
guy
a mainstay.
indispensable.
Yeah. 100%.
JD, I'm loving this game so far. What else we got?
I figured you'd dig this one, AV.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun coming up with these. All right, next one. Great picture here. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh, yes.
Which team is going to be everywhere over this next week? Who's going to make the most deals? Let's see a list of teams with the most salary cap
that's
space
a better
right
option.
now.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
Right? So here are your nominees, for lack of a better word. We got the Jackets, the Flames, the Ducks, the Sharks, the Preds. So it doesn't have to necessarily be buyers, but who's going to be everywhere making the most moves this week?
Let me weigh in, and just because I see some low-hanging fruit, I'm always glad to gravitate to the low-hanging fruit. Columbus, relevant. We didn't expect them to be here. We just finished talking about here they are, them and the Detroit Red Wings toggling back and forth at the 1 and 2 wildcard spot out east. But a team that's apt to be a buyer and a team that has the most cap space. To me, those elements tell you Columbus is going to be busier than we've seen them be in the past.
Yeah, I would have liked to have said the Predators, but they don't have that cap space, right? Essentially, they got this collection of talent, which has not played to expectations. So it's very tough to then all of a sudden, okay, let's just flip Marchessault, Stamkos, whomever, and because there's still considerable salary going to those guys. I think that Barry Trotz would like to make those moves, but he's hamstrung by that cap space.
That's right.
I think you have the right decision. Maybe the Flames as well. I don't see them being as active as Columbus. I feel like Columbus goes, oh, this is our window. This is our chance. Let's go make some moves.
Yeah,
we'll both go Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. All right, next one. Great Oscar year here. This is the No Country for Old Men Award.
Same year as There Will Be Blood.
I know. I think if they had to do it over again, the Academy might have gone with There Will Be Blood.
I like it.
That's one of the five best pictures of the last 25 years.
I agree.
Incredible film. PTA, you and I both. Yeah, we got that.
Javier Bardem, how about it?
It was unbelievable. That hair was just
unreal.
Love No Country for Old Men. Great flick.
Yeah.
So, No Country for Old Men. Which team is going to deal the most veterans? Here's a look at the oldest average age on NHL rosters this year. Who's going to shed some age?
Interesting. This is a good category. I like this. This is good discussion.
So I think the Leafs are still in it, so I don't think they're trading too much. The Islanders are looking like they're fading right now. Hurricanes are a generally conservative team. Maybe the Penguins. I think the Penguins by process of elimination.
I was going to take the Penguins as well. Okay. I think for this reason. Second most, like total average, or second oldest total average on that board that we just showed you. Plus, a team that is falling out of relevance, and Kyle Dubas, this is the linchpin for me in this category. Yeah. Kyle Dubas, I think just his second year now, or is it his third year? Second year managing this Pittsburgh Penguins roster, and it's time to get a little bit creative. It's time to do something that may be a little bit more on the sensational side. Yeah. I think the context there, to me, just kind of screams Pittsburgh Penguins moving some older established players.
Yeah, it's tricky. Sometimes I find with all the parity in the league, you're not really sure if you're one of the haves or the have-nots.
Right.
If you're having a disastrous season, you can quickly make hay and say, let's fix this out. But Pittsburgh, you can never totally enter a true rebuild because Sidney Crosby's still there.
Yeah.
And you can't tell your franchise generational star, hey, we're going to stink for 3 years. No, that can't happen.
Especially when right around the corner, another Metro Division rival has shown you Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals, they found a way to retool on the fly. So they're a great example of you don't necessarily need to blow it all up, strip it down to the studs, start over again. Yeah. We've seen Washington, and there's no better case in recent memory than Washington in terms of the retool on the fly.
Pittsburgh Wild win last night, too. Down 3-0 against the Flyers. Still win it. Malkin, by the way, scored the winning goal in overtime. All right, JD, I'm loving this. Keep going.
All righty. We will have more on the Pittsburgh Penguins in a future category. But first, Adnan, we're going way back to 1930.
Wow.
Best Picture winner then. All Quiet on the Western Front.
So that's an adaptation of course, the famous book. I think we're going to go Gone with the Wind, but you're going even earlier. This is great.
No, baby, we're pre-code with this one, 1930. And it is a talkie. I had to tell Chris Arnovich this is a talkie.
Yeah.
Not quite that old.
Yeah.
All right. But group of soldiers had to go to the front line to no man's land. So that got us thinking, young guys, in that movie, which young players need a fresh start somewhere else? We got to get one of these guys out of no man's land. Trevor Zegras, Dylan Cousins, Noah Dobson, Bowen Byram, or Lucas Reichel?
I got to go with Dylan Cousins because this Buffalo Sabres team right now, Stu, it's been so frustrating seeing their lack of success. And eventually at some point you go, something has to change, something has to turn. I'm going to go with Dylan Cousins.
I'm going to go with Trevor Zegras, and I'll tell you why. This is a young guy earlier in his career. He's shown some great promise. I don't know that he's a great organizational fit, knowing what I know about GM Pat Verbeek.
Yeah.
I feel like if the right deal comes along, Verbeek is apt to jettison Trevor Zegras if the return is right. That's the guy on that board for me.
Okay. Keep a lookout as the trade deadline is coming up on March 7th. JD, what else you got here?
Alrighty, guys. Final 2 minutes here. We got to breeze through this so we can get a quick Oscar preview. I love Cinephile. We need it. The Argo Award. Player you're most hopeful that will get dealt to a contender. Our nominees are Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Seth Jones of the Chicago Blackhawks, Erik Karlsson also of the Penguins, double nominees there, Brock Nelson of the Isles, or Ryan O'Reilly, a former Conn Smythe winner from the Nashville Predators.
Let me take Ryan O'Reilly.
Nice.
I will, and I think that's a kind of a big step backwards for the Nashville Predators. They went out of their way to button down Ryan O'Reilly to transform the culture in that organization a good bit. But I think there's a handful of teams out there that would really benefit from some more depth, that veteran championship experience from a guy like Ryan O'Reilly down the middle. Probably positioned as a 3C, so you're pretty deep up top, but you're looking to add a little depth down the middle.
O'Reilly's still got 2 years left in that deal, though, so I'm not sure if he's going to end up getting moved. You know, Seth Jones, why not, right? He's having a tough time there in Chicago. He's basically lobbying at his way to town. The Blackhawks aren't going to be better anytime soon. I'd like to see Seth Jones get moved somewhere else and get back to being the good puck-moving defenseman that he is.
AV, final minute. Give us your Oscars preview here. I miss Cinephile, baby. I'm trying to do my best Chris Cody.
That's so kind of me. Okay, so the Best Picture race is 2 movies. One is that Stu and I both loved, Anora.
Oh, gosh. Loved Anora.
The other, let's go Best Actor. Okay, sure. So Brody's going to win. Although great to see Timothée Chalamet win. He won the SAG Award. He gave a wonderful speech. He was very unabashed at what he had to say. But Brody's won every other award. He's won the SAG. He won the Golden Globe. So I think he's going to win his second Oscar for The Brutalist. Actress, real controversy running Carla Sofia Gascon, the first trans actress ever nominated. She had some old tweets which resurfaced. Hasn't been good. It's going to Demi Moore versus Mikey Madison. I'm pulling for Mikey Madison. It's going to be Demi Moore. It's a Lifetime Achievement Award. She is really good in The Substance, which is a crazy movie. Demi's going to win. Best Picture, here's the fun one. Anora, I love, and honestly, it's going to win. It won the PGA Producers Guild Award. It won the DJ Directors Guild Award. Watch out for Conclave. It did win the BAFTA. It did win the SAG Ensemble Award as well. So that'll be your Best Picture. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Take a breath, Fred. Draw a breath.
I got my Vanity Fair ballot here, ready to go.
It's exhale and inhale. There's another side of that. Inhale also.
You got to watch The Brutalist. Find 3.5 hours this weekend.
I do. I got to find it. And
most importantly, enjoy MJ the Musical tonight.
It's going to be a ball.
Look forward to that review.
Good show, bro. Good show.
This was a show-stopping adventure. There's no question about it. For Stu Grimson, I'm Adam Burke. Thanks so much for watching NHL Tonight, First Shift. Enjoy the hockey and enjoy the Oscars.